Show is brought to you by Health Diagnostic Laboratory, Inc.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Okay, when it comes to your health, there are 10 things everyone should know and do. Dr. Dall is here from Health Diagnostic Labs to break it down for us. Okay, this is your top 10 list. I love this.
So yeah, it's just a list I came up with because patients are always asking me, what can I do? So the first thing on the list is to know your numbers. Don't just accept a doctor saying, we checked your cholesterol, we checked your blood sugar, and it was normal. Ask, what is that? And if you haven't had more advanced testing, you don't know what your ApoB or your LDLP is, make sure that you get that at one point in time. So it's important to really know, be engaged in that conversation with the doctor. The second thing is to make sure if you smoke that you quit smoking.
Yes.
I mean, this is kind of an obvious one, but for whatever reason, we're a bit resistant to quitting. Now, at Health Diagnostic Laboratory, we actually have smoking cessation counselors that are free, no additional cost to somebody who wants to quit. Smoking drives inflammation, smoking drives particles up, and so that's some, very easy lifestyle change. I mean, it may not be easy to quit, but something that we can really make a difference without needing to resort to medications and other things to fix a problem that's pretty easy to fix.
Isn't it true that if you've been smoking for a while, if you quit today, you will actually start healing your body immediately.
Right.
And my dad died of bladder cancer, and the doctors told me that was associated with smoking. He was a lifelong smoker.
Actually, my grandmother died of bladder cancer, never smoked any cigarette in her life, but she lived with a smoker. And secondhand smoke really, can also create that. Another thing we need to know is blood pressure. Make sure that you have know what your blood pressure is, that you check that. There's a lot of things you can do with lifestyle in order to be able to modify that too.
Everything in moderation is another one I saw.
I can look at
yeah,
too.
we got it up on the screen. Everything in moderation. I know you and I
everything
talk about
in moderation.
All the time.
So alcohol too, right?
Yes.
So that's another one of the top 10. Drink alcohol in moderation if you're going to drink at all. So certainly one a day, or at most, 2 for a man, 1 for a woman is probably what you want to do.
And then move as much as possible.
Move as much as possible.
Yes.
And you know what? If that means buying yourself a pedometer and walking in place while you're stirring the pot in the kitchen and making dinner, I don't care. You just need to move. So I think I've said before, but when I straighten my really curly hair in the morning, I walk in place. My kids think I'm really weird, but I'm like, you know what? Each step counts, and I don't have time to go for a walk. So while I'm doing just day-to-day life, don't take the elevator, take the stairs. Park far away at the at the store. Do those kinds of things. Absolutely, and that's a simple thing to do.
Very easy.
Knowing your family history is another thing. You need to ask questions. A lot of people have no idea that there's heart disease in the family or diabetes in the family. Ask those questions. Make sure you're communicating with your doctor about that.
Well, here's another thing I was going to ask about that, or say about that, is you can know your family history because your mom tells you, yeah, well, grandma had this, or I had this, but chances are they never got advanced testing done.
Right. So they really don't know what hidden risk could definitely be there.
Absolutely. So you really need to have this testing done yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's really important to have that information because a lot of the things we detect on our lab test are genetic factors that will run in families. And so knowing that you have it means your brother and sister, mom and dad, kids should really be screened as well. Something like LP(a), for example, is, it's a genetic factor. And if you know it's there, it's associated with premature heart disease. So you need to be able to talk to your docs about that.
This next one is one of my favorites because we've talked about this a lot too. Eliminating the trans fats.
Yes.
They are so bad for you.
And look for the hidden trans fat because if you look at every label out there, it's going to say trans fat 0. It all says that because they basically manipulated the serving size so that it always comes up 0 because people know they're not supposed to have trans fat. But if you see the words partially hydrogenated oil anywhere in that ingredient list, no, you don't want it. You don't want any trans fat at all. Saturated fat, obviously we don't want in huge quantities, but it's really doesn't have the same kind of risk that trans fat does.
Yeah, and I read a lot about this, about fats, and understand that, I'd rather have somebody eat a steak or eat red meat than eat trans fats or,
absolutely. And if you're going to eat red meat, eat the grass-fed beef, the good quality beef. That's actually, can be certainly healthy when it's taken in small portions, certainly. So, I think we have this perception that, meat is bad, and I think it really depends on the quality, and certainly fish and chickens and other lean meats are really good for you.
And it goes back to our one of our top 10 listings is everything in moderation.
Absolutely.
Know the signs of heart disease.
Yes. So understand that not everybody's going to have chest pain that radiates to your left arm that you see sort of in the Hollywood story of a heart attack. For women in particular, they may just experience indigestion. They may feel profound fatigue. the symptoms are often not that classic chest pain. And so if you have any concern that you may be having a heart issue, if you have risk factors, if you've got a family history and you're experiencing something different and unusual, you need to get yourself to the emergency room right away, because the quicker we can act, the more likely you'll not damage heart muscle.
Yeah, well, we always hear doctors say that the first symptom you have of heart disease is usually just a heart attack.
Right.
So,
Right.
and get enough sleep,
Yes.
so important.
So too many of us, I think, go without sleep because of our lives. So you want to get at least 6 to 7 hours of sleep a night. And that really helps not just improve our blood pressure, improve our overall heart health. And it's just important that we really focus on taking care of ourselves and not always stressing our body constantly all night long as well.
And this is a chance for your body to renew and kind of rebalance and everything. So,
absolutely.
And then find ways to reduce stress.
Yes. So I always say, try to find a reason to laugh every day. I mean, if you have to, I don't know, read a funny blog or whatever it is, try to find a way to laugh. I mean, be creative, go dancing, or do something fun with the kids that, maybe learn how to rollerblade, if your kids want to do that. I mean, find creative ways to have fun together as a family and not take life so seriously.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Is that our last one? Did we get all through our 10? Yes. Reduce stress, laugh, get sleep. They're all such great tips.
And
Thank you.
it's interesting because even the sleep issue, on our testing, we can look at some markers that detect stress on the heart muscle. One of the first things I see when I see those elevated markers, that we call them the myocardial stress markers, is I always ask about sleep, because many people have disordered sleep and may have sleep apnea that they don't realize they have, and some of these blood markers will actually help us get a window into that, and then we can begin to help people.
It's so
lots
good.
of things that we can find out.
Such good stuff. Okay, you can talk to your doctor if you're interested in getting the HDL test. We have Dr. Dall and her colleagues back with us every Tuesday to teach us all more about how this testing can help you and your family and how very important it is. You can get more information about the Health Diagnostic Laboratory by going to their website, hdlabinc.com. You can also call them right there at the numbers on your screen, and they will be happy to help you out. And we are back with more broadcast right after this.